Good morning. Excuse me. Second video for the day. Ooh, I'm speeding. Lord have mercy. So we're going to do a Salem, Ohio to Alliance, Ohio, little trek here. And the purpose of this is to show you what travel was like back in the good old days while the interstates were yet to be built or being built. There's the old Dairy Queen on the left, closed down, and then above it was the Frost Top. They tore the building down, which there was like a Mennonite family that ran it back in the mid-90s, and it was beyond excellent. Everything they put out, you could have took pictures of. We would eat lunch there. We were working a Conrail. And they had us dig a case in at East Chemical, which I've still got to walk back out and take a look at. All they had to do was go up west on the tracks, uphill a couple, 100 or 200 yards. We're digging in our clothes from home and stuff, and these chemical people are in full gear with respirators on the other side of the fence looking at us. Everybody had a headache through that whole week or two we were there. So it was about 94, 95, who knows. So back in the old days, like I say, there's gas stations everywhere, and if they did work on cars, they had such a backlog. And up the middle of all these roads were black streaks from the oil and all the other fluids that leaked from them old cars. Even in the best ones from the late 60s, early 70s, where they were pretty dependable and easy to work on, they just stained the roads. So this is like a Route 66 parallel. That one runs sort of in a winding southwesterly direction from Chicago to Santa Monica or LA. And this one winds from Niagara Falls to El Paso, Texas. And this one hasn't been replaced. So they had diners, motels, and little gas stations all along your routes back then, because you didn't travel far, and you stopped and spent the night somewhere. Very rare you'd ever find a gas station out, because they were independent. They didn't pay to keep a gas station open for one or two customers a night. So here's your first motel from that era. And the little store out front was actually a restaurant. So it's still open, the motel and stuff. And the restaurant closed down some time ago. And now it looks like a drive-through liquor store. So there's so many of these old routes that were replaced by the interstate. Mostly US 30, and this, once you get out so far, it was replaced by Interstate 80. So, well, this one's 62, really, there's nothing to replace it with. But, yeah, the Lincoln Highway I was talking about, which is the next one south, it's not far from here. Replaced by I-80 and then maybe I-70 or 76 in Pennsylvania. It'd be pretty cool to be able to travel the whole distance in this. I'd need quite a bit of funding. So we'll see how many motels are still, standing. And who knows how many have been torn down over the years. Now you can hear the wind today. The temperature dropped yesterday, and we got our first flurries of snow. There's a motel on the right, Colonial Motel. There's your next one. Used to be like an early 50s Packard, parked out front there for a few years. So you and your family would stop for the night, because you're not going to be able to find gas. That was probably some bigger cities and stuff. You could do that, or a major intersection, or something that catered to trucks. It just wouldn't pay, and the owner needs sleep at a gas station too. He's already putting in 14, 16-hour days just working on cars. There might be another one on the right there. It looked like a little 4-room turned into a apartment. And there was one in Salem at the intersection across from the new Dairy Queen. There was a little, I think there was a motel there too, with a restaurant, car detailing, what used to be the Packard dealer in the mid-1950s. So that brick house in the place on the right we passed was the Stark Electric Railroad Station for, this is Damascus, Ohio. And the 534 up there that goes straight to Lake Erie ends at Geneva on the Lake. Goes through Amish country. Old general store now sells pizza. A couple old gas stations along the way shut down. Another one used to be on the right where that clothing thing is. So you wonder how far people could travel back then. I mean, that went on from the Model T days up until the 1960s. The interstates were still being built in the 70s when my parents were driving me around. They weren't all completed in places. Some places they had bridges made that would combine and tunnels into 2 lanes. And they were expanding either another tunnel or another 2 lanes of bridge back in the 70s. And then you got to ask, are there motels that were here that were torn down? Maybe they repurposed the property or whatever back in the 60s and 70s. So there's still quite a few in this little stretch between Salem and Alliance. I'm going to turn the camera a little to the left. Good looking Cadillac for sale. Because I'm going to show you something that somebody showed me back in the 90s that I never realized. Humans have simple brains. And I was just thinking about that the fuel oil companies take advantage of people for how long with the 9/10 on their little prices. That's how fickle-minded we are. And then they always rose the prices for holiday weekends and regular weekends. Nobody ever complained to them. So here this goes to a passing lane. And I used to love it when they all moved left and I had my Firebird. And this car's actually quicker. So the newspaper article I have says, and you'll see it when you go over the hill here, because I don't think it was here. This is probably where it ended. This 4-lane highway was completed in 1955 between Westville Lake Road and Alliance. So if you look to your left to where the telephone poles are, and you can see the hump where the other 2 lanes, which would have been eastbound lanes, and would be in the 2 westbound lanes here. So you can see the highway landscaping. And at first I thought maybe they did the landscaping and never completed it, and then I found a newspaper article in the Salem News, and I saved it on, I got it on a hard drive or whatever, and I took a screenshot. So this was a 4-lane road back in 1955. So between Canton, Ohio and the Pennsylvania borders, where US 62 and US 30 really are pinched with traffic. And they were, back in the early 80s, they had 2 lanes extended north of Alliance to meet up with the expressway north of Salem, and they never finished it. My mother said that they were, when she was a girl, they were talking about doing that. And then they've got US 30 goes down to East Canton, and then ends, and then goes to a 2-lane road. And they're both just long, slow routes to get the heck out of Ohio. So I put a suggestion in years ago to bring US 30 up to US 62, and then complete the US 62 to Salem, and then build that bridge over the valley, which is Egypt Road, and then go, hook on where Ohio Route 46 meets up with Ohio Route 11 north of Columbiano. So yeah, you can see the westbound lanes over there, but I never saw blacktop. My parents moved here in the late 60s, so maybe it was just a bunch of accidents happened. There was some reason that they closed it, and the paper says it was completely open. So did they plow up the blacktop, or did it just grow over? I can't picture that it would just grow over. So it comes up here where this goes, gets wide, and then it ends. So, yeah. Well, it looks like they would have had another bridge. This should be the Honing River. Huh. Still got the landscaping for it on the left. They would have had another bridge here, it looks like, too. So yeah, this was a 4-laner almost 70 years ago. I figured that'd be interesting for you to see, and we'll keep the camera on as we go into Alliance and then shut things down. I don't want to cause your TV any damage by all the bouncing around. The roads through Alliance need redone. They should have been redone this summer, and there's another reason to bypass Alliance. Oh. Oh, come on. You have to run next to your friend. Can't you single file it? What in the world? You can still see the landscaping all the way up to the railroad bridge, which I think we covered yesterday, the Baird line, B-A-Y-A-R-D, that runs from here in Alliance, maybe to Rochester, Pennsylvania. No, it's still going. It's a slow track. All right. Let me know what you think, if you ever noticed that or not. Until somebody mentioned to me in the 90s, I was totally oblivious going this way all the time. And other things on my mind.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto South Mahoning Avenue.
And we're not going to turn left, we're going to go straight. I think once you go through this intersection, she realizes where you need to go. So, what we are doing is we're going back to a charger in North Canton.
Turn left onto South Mahoning Avenue.
Didn't bring the wife with me. And we're going to try it out since Electrify America didn't fix their charger number 1 at the Walmart in Cambridge, Ohio, which seemed to fail overnight, a few hours before I get there.
Continue on US 62 West for 4 miles.
Yeah, it's going to be more than that. Last time it recognized and... Well, that's probably where 62 branches off, and they'll take 173. Now, the other thing is, I've got an Ohio Auto Club map from 1923. And I think this was 173 back then, or 172, and whatever it was, and most of the roads were that way in Ohio. Whatever route you're leaving town on, you come back a different number. The same road would have 2 different route numbers 100 years ago. Oh, they changed that to a Gulf station. Huh. I haven't seen a Gulf station around here for a long time. So a lot of the Ohio routes, they changed numbers. Whether you're going west or east, there was 2 different numbers. So there's a new China restaurant on the left. It's an old Arthur Treacher sign. Fish and chips. They say there's one left in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, north of here. I guess it'd be northwest. And I heard there's one in Pomeroy, Ohio, but it's like a joint with another restaurant. Love the color of that Kia Soul. I was trying to buy a wife a Soul years ago when I was sick and laid up. Couldn't spend money on anything else. She didn't like the looks of them. The hard part is when you're done with it. You're always worried about selling your soul. All right, this is Union. Now it says Carnation Boulevard. Huh. Well, it's Union for us old people. So there's Mount Union College on the right. All right, that should be enough for now. Like and share if you would. Check out all the other videos about electric cars, tips and hints, trips we take. We'll try to do get the attachment to do trips in the other cars too. Something to do, something to record, maybe for my kids or grandkids, when I'm not here. Put them on YouTube. And if you don't like the voice, I know you, hit the mute button. Otherwise, hit like and share. So, all right, have a great day. Be safe.